Thank you so much. It's been such a long journey to get here, and it's been really a tough quest and tough, arduous job to get this degree. Anyways, I will now proceed away with much grace.
Wait.
Yeah?
You have to pay back the loan.
What do you mean?
You have like £50,000 in debt.
Huh?
Yeah, £50,000 that you need to pay back.
Okay, but I have a salary that I can pay off that loan, right?
Well, you technically don't have a job.
Okay, but I can get a
Yeah,
job,
you could
right?
get a job. I mean,
I can get-
COVID,
I have
it's really
this- I
hard
have this
right
degree.
now.
I can get a
Not
job,
really.
right? But I have. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Clouds and nice to meet you. Today we're going to be looking at the universities with the highest paid graduates. So basically we're looking at all the universities in the UK and see which ones actually that's a really weird word to use. Which universities lead to higher paying graduates. Basically meaning which university you should go to if you want to make the most money, statistically speaking. Make it rich! That was all the money that I've saved up for the past 16 years, by the way. Of course, this is only an average of what the graduates from these universities make. So this doesn't mean that there aren't any outliers. It doesn't mean that everyone who graduates makes this amount of money. You know, even if a university has a lower graduate's salary, it doesn't mean that that's how much you'll make. You can definitely make a lot more depending on other circumstances, you know, like it's not just about the average. I always make sure to give a disclaimer in these kind of videos because I don't want anyone to misinterpret this kind of information or feel like they didn't go to the right university or they should go somewhere else. Like, no, remember that these are only statistics and they don't delineate your whole future. Alright, so the first website that we're on is Student Employment Services, and this article is which UK universities produces the best paid graduates. So here it says that emoluments.com, the company that carried out the research, found that after 5 years, successful alumni from the universities with the highest average salary would be earning an impressive £69,000. 69,000 is a very, very good livable wage. I would say in the UK it's a lot above average. I think in London the average salary is probably around 30,000. Let's actually check. Is around 30 grand. It's around 30 grand, I would say. Okay, let's look. Average salary in London. Okay, so the average salary according to Guardian Jobs UK is £52,000. This is the average salary across all ages, so lifetime, not just graduate salary. So yeah, for graduates to be making 69,000 after 5 years of graduating is pretty impressive. So let's just scroll through this list and see what they have here. Oh, okay, so number one, coming at the number one spot, this is a little bit awkward, not gonna lie, a little bit awkward. It's London Business School. Okay, wow. The thing is, it does say here that this is the average salary that graduates have after 5 years of graduation. 5 years is quite a lot if you really think about it. And London Business School, the predominant population of students is MBA graduates. And for an MBA to be making 69,000 5 years after graduating, it actually even sounds a little bit low to me. I feel like 70,000 is probably what they'd be making as soon as they hit the market, I would say. You know, maybe it's only looking at masters, like, no, it doesn't say. Okay, so I think it's just the overall school population. LBS grads in my course, so the Masters in Management, that's the early careers, so it doesn't count any of the MBA graduates. Probably around 40 grand. Which is pretty high, I would say. However, if you guys are curious, I know some people ask me what my salary is in my comments. I make less than that. I don't make 69,000 a year. I don't make 40,000 a year. I definitely make less. However, in 5 years, I would say that number looks somewhat realistic, I would say, for LBS grads. Next, we have University of Oxford, which averages around 54,000 a year after 5 years. That is very impressive given the fact that, you know, University of Oxford, it's mostly undergraduate students. Their graduate school isn't nearly as big as their, undergraduate school, and London Business School, it's mostly graduate students, so it makes sense that it's so much more than Oxford. So Oxford, that's still very, very impressive, 54,000 after 5 years. I would say with a lot of confidence that I think the job that brings the average up is banking. So yeah, that's actually quite interesting. Let's look at number 3, Warwick Business School. So actually what you can really see here is a pattern amongst business schools, which is ironic because in my previous video I did say that business students don't, necessarily make that much money. However, if you go into the business field, and especially if you go into financial services, there is a lot of potential to have a high earning salary. Number 4, we have University of Cambridge. That doesn't come far from Warwick, so it's only around £500 less. Next, we've got Cass Business School, which of course is also a well-known university, business specifically, and that one is 50,500. Number 6, we've got LSE, £50,000. That surprises me a lot. I would expect LSE to be at the top. If we're just speaking undergraduate school, so without counting London Business School, because that's obviously a postgraduate school, I would expect LSE to be at the very, very top, because I would expect most graduates from LSE to go into investment banking or consulting, financial services, etc. And those are the highest paying graduate jobs. Surprising me that LSE is below Cass. LSE has a way stronger reputation than Cass Business School, to be honest. So that definitely surprises me a little bit. They don't say how they've done this research or what the sample size is or any of the methodology. So I would be curious to see how they calculated this actually. All right, moving on, we've got University of Sheffield coming at number 7 with £49,000. That surprises me. I didn't know that Sheffield produced such high-paying grads. To be completely honest, I don't actually know that much about the University of Sheffield, but compared to all these other universities, I wouldn't expect it to rank so well. And then number 8, we've got University of Edinburgh. That doesn't surprise me either, 48,500. When I was recruiting in investment banking, I would see a lot of University of Edinburgh students come through, and their CVs were usually quite impressive. Fun fact, I actually applied to University of Edinburgh and then they rejected me. Alright, so after Edinburgh, we've got Imperial College London. I think Imperial is very much focused in STEM subjects rather than like finance, law. Actually, they do have medicine, medicine of course pays very well. And then number 10, we have University of Birmingham, which is 46,500. I would say that is also quite surprising. I would think other universities that I would expect to be in this list are like King's College London, UCL. They aren't in here, which I would expect them to be. So yeah, that list looks about right, but definitely a couple of surprising entries in there. However, we do have other sources, so let's just check out what other websites are saying. There is never one source of truth for any situation. All right, let's look at raisin.co.uk, and their article was posted in October 2020, so not that long ago. I'd say it's quite recent. And it says, do high achievers of Britain's universities become high earners? I haven't read it yet. I just opened it up. £40,800 as a salary for average. Worth of debts. I literally thought that was too high to be average salary, and when it said debt, it made sense to me. Alright, so they took their data from HESA, which is High Education Statistics Agency. I also get sent emails by HESA to make sure that, I fill in their surveys to tell them how much I'm making after graduating and everything. So I do trust these statistics, and I do trust the numbers. I think they have a large sample size, which is very important. Okay, so all of these here are the top 20 graduate salaries, and I already see QM in there, so I am very proud. Let me just say that QM ranks top 20 for highest salaries. In my previous video, it didn't even rank top 30 for the best universities in the UK, and I was low-key so heartbroken. I'll say like one of the major factors for me, at least, when looking at a good university is how well the graduates are paid after graduation. It's a good representation of how well they are being employed into jobs. We're gonna go north, west, south, east. So we're gonna go anti-clockwise. I think that makes sense. So we've got University of Edinburgh at the top. So they are at £31,170 for their graduate salary. All right, it doesn't actually say how long after graduation is, but I'm assuming this is pretty much straight after, or probably like 6 months after graduation, or like their first job. University of Manchester, 29,974. Also, I want to remind everyone very quickly that these cities are a lot cheaper to live in than London. It's a pretty good living wage, I would say. Then we've got University of Nottingham at 29,906. Then we have University of Warwick, which is £30,510. Out of all the ones I've read so far, that's the second highest, so right after Edinburgh. So after Warwick, we've got University of Birmingham, 28,798. Then we've got Oxford Brookes University with 28,795. That's actually very impressive for Oxford Brookes. I just find Oxford Brookes the funniest university because I used to think that Oxford Brookes was Oxford. I didn't know much. This was before I went to the UK. And then I once met a girl who went to Oxford Brookes, and I asked her, which university do you go to? And she was like, Oxford Brookes. And I was like, you got into Oxford? The funniest part of the story is the fact that she didn't even try to correct me. She was just like, oh yeah, thank you. I feel like that's all Oxford Brookes students. Why is it that when anyone asks you which university you go to, the Brookes always is a little bit more silent? Which university do you go to? Oxford. Wait, what was that? Oxford Brookes. But honestly, your salary is high. Your salary is £28,795 after graduating, and that's in the top 20 highest paid universities in the UK. So I'm not gonna slander you guys. You guys are doing well. After Oxford Brookes, we have Oxford, which is 34,802. Pretty good. That's the highest one we've seen so far. Then we've got University of Bristol, which is £29,961. Also pretty good, I would say. University of Bath coming at 29,876. So a little bit less than University of Bristol. And then University of Southampton, which is a little bit less than University of Bath, but still in that green range, so still pretty well paid. Then we've got University of Sussex.
I've been there actually for a competition once, and it's beautiful. I love Brighton. It's a very nice place.
Then we've got University of Reading, 29,175. Then we finally have QMUL. Anyways, 28,302. That is one of the lower ones I've seen. So I think Queen Mary probably ranks like somewhere in the 19, 20, 18s. Guys, I didn't realize that the numbers on the little dollar signs were actually the ranking. I wasn't even looking at those numbers. So okay, so the 19 for QM, it means that, you know, they're ranked 19. Number 20 is Sussex, and number 1 here is Oxford. So it does tell us which ones, where they rank. I should have realized that sooner. I do realize that was a very blonde moment. UCL comes at number 3 at £32,757, which is why I said it was so surprising that it wasn't in that previous list. So yeah, it's not in this one where LBS is at the top. And here it's ranked number 3. That's suspicious. That's weird. Anyways, Brunel University, 29,000, comes at number 15. Brunel students earn more than QM students. Every time I'm gonna hang out with my Brunel friends now, you guys are paying. King's College London at 31,889. That's ranked at number 4, so a lot higher than Queen Mary. My sister goes to King's, so Tina, next time we go out to eat, you're paying. Anyone who ranks higher than Queen Mary, y'all are paying next time we eat. I'm just saying. So the only one who's exempt is University of Sussex. Anyone else, so my friends from Bath, my friends from Oxford, my friends from Oxford Brookes, I don't have friends from Oxford Brookes, my friends from Warwick, y'all are paying. All right, then after we've got Buckinghamshire. Alright, so we've got Buckinghamshire New University at £29,242. And then number 2 comes Cambridge, which is 34,720. Not surprising. And then at number 12 we have University of Durham, which makes 29,260. So yeah, that's the top 20 highest paid universities in the UK. That makes sense to exempt LBS from this list and other postgraduate schools as well. Oh my god, why is LSE not on this list? That doesn't make any sense. How is LSE making less than Oxford Brookes? How is LSE making less than University of Sussex? How is LSE making less than Queen Mary University? This is so weird. So the other list had LSE, obviously, which I would expect to see on this list, but it also had like Sheffield and Birmingham, which aren't on this list. Oh, actually Birmingham is here, never mind. Still very surprising that LSE isn't here. Alright, so I think there's an overall consensus that Oxford and Cambridge are the universities that produce the highest paying graduates. According to these two lists, other universities that also produce high paying graduates are like Warwick Business School, University of Edinburgh. So yes, it is good to know because we do be graduating with a bunch of tuition loan on our backs. and it is hard to pay off that loan and try to save up for stuff. And you know, in today's day and age, who knows how many of us in our generation will actually be able to one day buy a house. So these kind of things are important to look at. You know what, let's wrap up this video in theme. So as a graduate who just graduated around 6 months ago, I know the struggles of trying to find grad jobs and trying to make money and trying to find a well-paying job. But let me just console everyone out there who's, you know, worried. It will be fine. As cliche as it sounds, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and you will get through this graduate application slump. One of the hardest things I've had to do, if not the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was apply for grad jobs. It was so draining, physically and mentally, and I understand what you're going through, but please give yourself the time that you need to, you know, care for yourself and to give yourself the love that perhaps a lot of these companies aren't giving you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.